I'm trembling as I type this. I've been bottling it up for weeks, but I'm done holding back. Maybe it's the anger finally spilling over, or maybe it's the non-stop messages from people at that dinner acting clueless about why I stormed out. Like I'd just walk away, 6 months pregnant, for no reason. Here's the unfiltered truth. We'd been trying for a baby for years. 2 heartbreaking losses, 1 chemical pregnancy. I sobbed in bathrooms, in the car, in the middle of grocery stores. We poured money into apps, ovulation kits, supplements that turned my stomach. He was there through it all, or at least his body was. I thought he was in it with me. He said he was. He'd hold me after negative tests, murmuring, "We'll make it happen." So when I finally saw those 2 lines on the test, my heart raced. I was grinning so hard my cheeks ached. I took 4 more tests, got a blood test to be sure. When I told him, he just stared. No smile, no hug, just, "Okay." I laughed it off, thinking he was stunned. "You're in shock, right?" I asked. He said, "I need to process it," and went back to scrolling his phone. Some forum about gaming headsets. I stood there, staring at the screen, wondering how that could matter more than our baby. I brushed it off, told myself he was overwhelmed. People react strangely sometimes. Maybe he was scared. But weeks passed, and nothing changed. He didn't ask about doctor visits, didn't touch my growing belly, didn't ask how I was feeling. If I mentioned the baby, he'd switch topics or go silent, like a wall came up. One night, I asked point blank, "Do you still want this?" He said, "I don't know what you expect me to say," and walked off to play video games. Not angry, just done. I should have confronted him harder, but I was exhausted. I started doubting myself, wondering if I was too emotional, too needy. My mum said, "Men sometimes don't connect until the baby's born." My friend Sarah said it might be nerves, so I kept making excuses for him. Then came the dinner. His sister Clara hosted one of her family catch-up nights. She's the type who posts every dish like it's a Michelin star meal, acting like the queen of gatherings. Her husband's fine, her kids are loud but okay. His mum was there too, which was unusual. She usually steers clear of tension. I wore a dress that finally fit my bump, curled my hair, felt good for once. I thought maybe being around family would shake him out of it, make the baby real for him. I was naive. It started off wrong. Clara opened the door and said, "Wow, you're actually looking pregnant now. I was starting to wonder if it was real." She laughed like it was funny. I forced a smile. He said nothing, didn't even defend me. We sat down, small talk, wine for everyone but me. They chatted about a group vacation planned for next year, and Clara said, "Guess you're stuck with the baby, huh?" He smirked and said, "Or maybe not, depending on how things go." I stared at him. He looked away. My hands were in my lap, nails digging into my skin to stay calm. Then we got to baby names. I shared one I liked, just one. Clara snorted, "That sounds like a name for a dancer at a club." I waited for him to say something. He didn't. Then he said, "We don't even know if it's mine. Ever heard of paternity tests?" His mum went white. Clara cackled. I froze. Then Clara, because she's vicious, said, "That kid's screwed with her as a mum anyway." No one spoke. No one stopped them. I set down my fork, pushed back my chair, looked at him and said, "You're right. This baby deserves better than a father like you." I walked out. No one followed. No one called my name. I drove home. Haven't seen him since. That was 3 weeks ago. He texted once saying I overreacted, that he was just joking to lighten the mood. I didn't respond. His mum texted, apologising for the tense dinner and suggesting lunch to clear things up. I blocked her. My mum was livid. She said she'd have flipped the table if she'd been there. She offered to stay with me, and I'm considering it. But I'm not sad. I'm furious. How dare he treat me like this after everything? The years of trying, the grief, the losses. How dare he act like our baby is a burden or a tool to humiliate me in front of his family? I'm carrying our child, and he turned it into a punchline. I'm done. I'm raising this baby alone. I don't care if that makes me a single mum or whatever people want to label it. My child will never wonder why I stayed with someone who treated me like I was nothing. The silence when I stood up at that dinner? They all knew I was right. Now I'm planning. I have a meeting next week to explore my legal and financial options. I don't want advice. I don't want give him another chance. I just needed to say it. I'm not going back. If he wants to see me or this baby again, he better be ready to grovel. Because I'm not letting this go. If you read my last post, you know about the dinner where he humiliated me, 6 months pregnant, and his sister laughed while he questioned if the baby was his. I walked out and meant it. I cut contact, blocked him, his mum, his sister. Moved in with my cousin Lisa, who had a spare room, a floor mattress, and a working toaster oven. I started piecing together my next steps, still pregnant, still exhausted, but weirdly at peace. Then he showed up. Not immediately, about 10 days later. Strange things started happening. One morning, a box was on my car hood. No note, just a tiny yellow onesie with a star on it, still in its packaging, clearly a clearance item. I thought it might be from Lisa's mum or her church friends. Nope. The next day, a note was taped to the door. I miss you. Can we talk? No signature, but I knew his handwriting from the grocery lists he'd scribble on napkins. I didn't respond. Then came a crib. A huge box left outside the apartment. No note. It was one of those fancy convertible ones, meant to grow with the kid. I looked it up. It wasn't cheap. I dragged it inside, left it unopened. Lisa gave me a look but stayed quiet. She knew I was a volcano waiting to erupt. Then he showed up in person. I'd just finished a call with my insurance agent, trying to navigate registering the birth without listing him as the father. A nightmare, by the way. I was taking out the trash when I saw him by the mailboxes, holding a gift bag with a stuffed animal peeking out. I stopped. He looked up, flinched, and said, I just wanted to drop this off and talk, if you're not too busy. Like I'm just chilling, 7 months pregnant, with nothing better to do than entertain the guy who mocked our baby's existence at a family dinner. I told him to leave. He said, just 5 minutes. I said no again. He muttered something about me being dramatic and cold, that he was trying to fix things. That's when I snapped. I grabbed the bag, tossed it in the dumpster, and told him he doesn't get to erase what he did with gifts and act like it was a bad day. He said he was sorry, scared, overwhelmed, didn't mean it, thought I'd move on. I asked what I was supposed to move on from, the part where he questioned the baby's paternity, or where his sister called me a terrible mum while he sat there. He claimed everyone was drinking, that people say stupid things when they're nervous. I reminded him it was a Tuesday, no one was drunk, his sister served iced tea, his mom drove home. He blinked, like he'd forgotten. He reached for my arm. I stepped back. Then he said, I told my mom we're working things out. She's expecting to visit when the baby's born. I thought we could keep this quiet for now. My jaw dropped. He'd told his family we were fine? I slapped him, not out of anger but sheer disbelief. My hand moved before I could think. I turned, went upstairs, slammed the door, locked it, and sat there, staring into space. It gets worse. Sarah called me later saying she ran into Clara, who acted like nothing happened. Clara said she was so excited for the baby, glad things were working out, that she knew he'd come around. That's when it clicked. The onesie, the crib, the stuffed animal weren't for me or the baby. They were for show, to make him look like the guy who fixed his mess. I was done. I loaded the crib box into Lisa's car with bungee cords and drove it to his mum's house. No warning. I knocked, she answered, said, Oh, you look healthy. I asked if he was there. She said no, he was at work. I said, good, pushed the box inside and told her, here's the lie he sent me. She looked confused, asked what I meant. I said, your son told you we're reconciling. We're not. And if you show up at the hospital or my place when this baby's born, I'll get a restraining order faster than you can blink. She said softly, you're making this harder than it needs to be. I laughed, because that's the line, right? Women like me are always too much when we refuse to be walked over. I left, slammed her door, haven't heard from him since, but I know he's spinning the story, telling people I had a hormonal meltdown, and he's forgiving me for lashing out. He's the hero, cleaning up my mess. But I'm not cleaning his. He can keep his crib, his lies, his fake redemption. He never wanted to be a dad, just the image of one. The second it got real, he crumbled. I'm nearing my due date, and I've got a plan. Sarah's with me for labour. Lisa's packed a hospital bag. We're making it work. I thought I was done with him after the crib stunt and his fake we're fine story. But what happened next? Nothing could have prepared me. My daughter was born in spring, a bit early but perfect. Bright eyes, a tiny frown like she was already questioning the world. Lisa was in the delivery room. Sarah brought bagels and a balloon that said, you nailed it, Queen. I didn't tell him or his family, didn't put his name on the birth certificate. Some said I was harsh, that he deserved to know. But he lost that right when he turned my pregnancy into a joke, let his sister mock me, and tried to rewrite it all. I was protecting my kid. Months passed. I was figuring it out. Sleepless nights, formula stains, cold coffee. Then, out of nowhere, a message. Not from him, but from his old friend Mark. They'd been close but drifted apart years ago. He never said why, just that Mark got weird. The message said, I heard what happened. It's not my place, but there's something you should know. I almost ignored it, baby asleep on me, exhausted. But I replied, go on. Mark dropped a bomb. Back in his early 20s, he got a girl pregnant. Not me, someone he dated briefly. She told him, and he lost it. Not just, I'm not ready, full panic. Begged her not to keep it, said it'd ruin him. She terminated, and he didn't grieve the loss. He felt betrayed, like she'd taken control. Mark said he'd twisted it in his head, saw pregnancy as a trap, a power play. Ever since, he's had this resentment toward fatherhood, like it's a punishment. He'd make bitter jokes about being tied down or not trusting positive tests. Mark thought it was just talk at first, but it got darker. When I had my miscarriages, he seemed supportive, but now I see it. He was relieved. The way he'd dodge baby talk, flinch at crib catalogues. It fits. He never told me, never let me in, just let me think I was the problem. Then humiliated me in front of his family. I sat with that for days, sick to my stomach, not because I doubted it, but because it made sense. So I did something. I posted a photo, not a polished one, just me and my daughter on the living room floor, spit up on my shirt, hair unwashed for days, her in a onesie that said, "Raised by a warrior, thriving." Caption: "You called her a mistake. She's the only thing I've never questioned." I knew he'd see it. Clara follows Lisa, who reposted it, and Clara can't resist sending him screenshots. An hour later, he messaged, saying the post was unfair, that I was dragging him publicly, keeping his daughter from him. I laughed. I replied, "You cut yourself out when you joked about paternity tests in front of your family. What are you trying to come back to? The baby you didn't want or the image you're trying to save?" He didn't respond. Then his mum sent a letter saying she was concerned about the emotional impact of denying a child her father, that he was trying. I didn't reply, just tucked it into a scrapbook I'm keeping, not the cute kind, but a real archive, screenshots, letters, the truth. My daughter will get answers one day, not excuses. Then I ran into Clara at the store, in the baby aisle. She tried to slip by, but I called her out. She gave a fake smile, asked about the baby. I said, "She's amazing, just started giggling when I sing badly." Clara said stiffly, "You know he's hurting, right?" "He feels like you're punishing him." I said, "He's punished by the truth." She called me cruel. I said, "So was he," and walked away. He doesn't get to treat me like dirt and cry about the consequences. He doesn't get to mock my pregnancy and then claim fatherhood when it suits him. He made his choice. I'm not here to fix his regrets. I never expected to hear from him again. He vanished. No calls, no texts, no questions about our daughter. After a while, I stopped thinking about him, not out of spite, just because he wasn't part of our world. Then a letter arrived. Plain envelope, no return address, but I knew his handwriting. I opened it in the kitchen, laundry humming, my daughter brushing her teeth. It said he'd been in therapy, was sorry, made mistakes, thought about her constantly, said he had no right to ask but begged to see her, even from a distance. I didn't reply right away, didn't tell anyone. I just thought it over, not for him or me, but to decide if he deserved to see what he threw away. I texted from an old number. Saturday, 3 p.m, Riverside Park, bench by the oak. You sit, you don't approach, you don't speak. 10 minutes, he replied. Thank you. I didn't answer. My daughter, let's call her Kay, is 6 now, bright, curious, always bouncing between ideas. She doesn't ask about him. She knows she has a dad out there, but it doesn't seem to bother her. She's not missing anything. I told her we were going to the park. She grabbed her green jacket and asked for ice cream after. At the park, she ran ahead, balancing on the path's edge like a gymnast. I saw him first, on the bench, thinner, same nervous hand fidgeting. He froze when he saw her. She didn't notice, too busy showing me a beetle on her sleeve. I stopped a few feet away, told him quietly this was his only shot, and reminded him of what he said, that she wasn't his, that he didn't want her. I said I didn't care if he'd changed, it didn't erase what he did. He stayed silent, looking like he was barely holding it together. Kay ran back, holding a rock she called a cloud shape, asking to keep it as a pet. I said sure. She asked for ice cream. I said yes. She waved at him, just a friendly kid wave to a stranger. I looked at him and said, "You've seen her? That's more than you deserve. Don't contact us again." We left. He didn't follow. I don't know what he expected. Maybe that she'd sense him, or I'd soften. She didn't. I didn't. He missed 6 years. First steps, birthdays, silly jokes, glittery art projects. He missed her. And now he lives with that. I don't pity him, don't forgive him, don't hate him. There's just nothing left. He saw her, saw she's thriving, happy, loved, and he's not part of it. That's enough for me. Edit. No, I'm not telling Kay who he was yet. If she asks when she's older, she'll get the truth. For now, she's just a joyful kid, and that's all she needs to be. Edit 2. To those saying I should have let her talk to him, she didn't want to. She's not missing a father. She never had one. There's a difference. Thanks for reading. I didn't write this for advice or sympathy, just to get it out, maybe for me, maybe for someone else who's been through this. Please like and subscribe my channel.